Hello, Fiddle here, coming at you with another ID review. Today, we'll be taking a look at the new Heathcliff. Wild Hunt Heathcliff, the Earl King, the King himself. So, taking a look at him, first things first, this is just a strong ID. To give you an idea, I've already had time to play with it. As you see, mine's only uptide 3. Because I was testing it, I didn't want to commit the upties until I tested like the lesser version, see how it felt in game. Because with uptide 3, you generally get a good idea on how a ID will feel when you're doing stuff. Like, whereas uptide 4, you just get like big spikes in damage. But uptide 3 will really give you like the feel of a character. So I uptide 3 this, and I played it in Mirror Dungeon. I played in Thread XP. I played it in both. I said Thread XP. In both Thread and XP for the daily. And so far, here are my thoughts. I think it's really strong. It plays really well. Has a very unique play style compared to the rest. It goes for a very stance swappy playstyle, sort of like Philip Sinclair. The difference is that Philip, you're kind of like end up in some weird situations where you're forced to swap into his ego stance when you don't really want to. Whereas Earl King doesn't have that issue. So before even looking at the skill 1, the big gimmick he has is in his defensive. So this defensive is going to give him his stance, and it's going to put him on his horse. He's going to get his high horse, as I was saying on stream for this. He's going to get his high horse, he's going to go crazy. And when he's on the horse, that's when he's going to do big damage, he gets more AoE, he just absolutely goes apeshit. So first things first, it's a clashable counter. First time we've ever had that. Normally the way counters work is they'll go for a hit on you, and you take the hit, then the counter triggers, and you go for an unopposed hit on them, basically. This is different. This will actually clash. It's basically just an activatable attack, almost like how egos are, where you can just activate it whenever you need it. And when you activate this, he gets put on his horse. He has to ride his horse, he gains +1. And he does his clash, it's pretty good. One thing to note here is that on uptide 4, he does gain, he gains a lot of offensive level here. And he does gain count. The count's going to help, because if you're on sinking team, he's actually going to chew through your own sinking count. So having this will help ease that pain. It'll help bring him into it. But this is going to activate his stance. Basically, him pressing his defensive acts as a clashable thing, so you don't just take free damage going into the clash. You get on your horse, and that's when you start like being able to. It switches forms. When you're on your horse, you drain SP based on how many stacks of the horse you have. You keep gaining Doulahan, meaning the more you're on the horse, the more sanity you're draining until you're basically forced to get off the horse. The way you reduce the drain, so if you get on the horse and you don't have much coffin, as you can see here, 15 minus coffin divided by 2. So if you don't have any coffins, you're going to lose 15 SP. Minimum of 10, it says, of course. And the reason why it says min 10 is the max coffins you can get is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 15 minus 5 is 10. It's kind of nice that they already do that math for you. So it's going to drain sanity. It's going to be less of a drain, but you really, from playing this, you don't really feel that sanity drain at all, because he has so many different things in his kit to help him. And he's on a Gloom team. There's a couple of Gloom IDs and different things that can help with sanity. Like, I believe Gregor's, what is it? Let me switch to Gregor really fast. His Beyond Days, I think this is a sanity fixer. Yeah, he'll sanity. There's just so many different IDs that help with his sanity. that you don't really feel it, especially since he's going to naturally slot into a team, because sinking teams kind of already want to lean into that. So the go into, his +1 feels alright. It feels stronger than a normal +1. That's for sure. But overall, pretty good. It gets one thing to mention with him is he gets insane like coin power buffs. Like even looking at this, like +1 clash power at 6+ sanity or sinking. Coin power +1 for every 3 sinking, max of 2. So the way they'll actually look at this is you times this by the coins to look at what its maximum potential is. So that's actually +4. So, and you look at this. So we're going to do 4 + 8, 12. So that's a 15 hitting. That's pretty good, alright, already. It's slightly above offensive level. It's only like 1 higher than I think Faust. I would need to double check the new Faust that came out. It's not exceptional. It's a skill 1. It's offensive level. It's not supposed to be like crazy broken. The next ability he has is a skill 2. One thing to mention is I didn't realize this when I was looking at the ID at first, when I was picking up, trying it, or looking at like the breakdown, the numbers. This is a really high damage when it comes to clashing. It's really high low end. It seems like there aren't many abilities. Like it almost feels like a skill 3 in terms of clashing. Like it feels like it just wins against most stuff, which is really, really good. And it gets a lot of shit. It feels really strong for a skill 2. So he gains coin power per sinking. He gets attack weight per coffin and Doulahan. And then if he's on the Doulahan, he loses more sanity. So that's one thing to mention, is that he's going to be losing sanity while on the horse already. And then he's going to lose even more when he activates this. It inflicts a new status condition on the enemy, which causes their sanity to drain, causes more sinking. So he's really good. This helps with sinking count by a lot. One thing to mention is the skill 2, attack weight 3, gains even more coin power, which this, again, is a lot of coin power. Like, 2 times 3 is 6, so that's +6. +9, so we're looking at 15. So we're looking at a 20 to 25 skill 3. That's kind of crazy. That feels really strong, considering I think Ousta's skill 3, although hers is more of a support ability, is only it's only 24, I think, at max. Don't quote me on that. That's just going off my memory. And then it gets a lot of attack weight. This feels like Philip Sinclair's skill 2, except on steroids. I mean, it doesn't have burn count, but it does sinking, so it's like the same. And it applies impending ruin. The next thing he has is his skill 3, which, holy mother of paragraphs, the skill 3. Project Moon. Please, I struggle with reading as it is, it feels like, and you're hitting me with more reading. So, first things first. He heals sanity with this, which is pretty nice. This thing scales with his coffins. It applies sinking count, which is really good. If they have ruin, it applies more sinking count, which is good. And then if it kills something, it spreads the sinking, which is nice. One thing to mention, he also gets coffin from this. He also gets coffins from killing things, so that's another thing. We'll talk about his passive in a moment. When we uptie this, what it gains is, it gains a lot of fucking coin power per sinking. Holy coin power. That's just this character in general. Oh, mother of coin power, this character. He gets a lot of damage from coffins. So if he gets, from testing just against a boss, even without coffins, this is still feels really strong with Coffin. So if you can have build up time, like in the new backup fights in the new mode they introduced with the last Intervolo, he's gonna feel really strong. He's gonna be able to stack these up. And he already feels strong without really getting Coffins from my testing. So he gets a ton of percent from the Coffins, and then also he gets more spread and inflicts more sinking and count on Uptie 4. But one thing to notice, if he's on his high horse, he gets a completely different skill 3, which is a negative coin power. So when he's on his horse, he loses more sanity from hitting this. I mean, that's natural. Like, it seems to be the trend, right? The base power increases. And when I was first looking at this, I was like, what? I didn't realize it was a negative coin. I was like, why is this on base power? Why is this not on coin power like the rest of the trends? Well, they don't want to increase the coin power because it means nothing. So, of course, they're increasing the base power. Also, 31. Holy mother of... This is a lot. It does more damage the further from max HP he is, SP he is. So, as he's losing sanity on his horse, he's getting rewarded. He's always guaranteed to not be at 45 on use. So when he wins the clash, he'll go up. Deal 7% more for every Coffin. This, of course, these ones will scale up with the Uptie. For every horse he gets, makes sense. You can only have a max of 3, I believe. Yeah. So you get more damage the more horse charges you have, the more you're in the stance. If it kills a target, you get more Coffins. At less than 0 SP, he heals 10. He heals further the further away he is from the 0 mark, which is really nice. Max of 25. End of turn, lose Dullahan. So you're guaranteed to hop off the horse after this. And he inflicts a lot. I thought this was really funny. They added raise target stagger threshold by 20% of the damage dealt. This doesn't need to be here. This is overkill on this ability. Like, all of this is just overkill. They just wanted him to be good. He is a fun ID to play. He's really fun. He feels really good, and it feels like you don't even need him for a sinking team. Like, sinking is almost a bonus, it feels like. His base stuff is just so strong, you can run him, just to run him. He feels like the captain in that sense, too. Well, captain doesn't have strong... How do you say it? Her base skills are strong, but the captain's assist or whatever is what really helps that. That just makes her really good. And this, inflict gloom affinity equal to the sinking on target. This says max of 15. At Uptie 4, this is max of 30. So with all these percentage buffs, yeah, max of 30, you could be hitting for whatever this value is with the percentage. Plus you say, fuck it, I hit you for another fucking 30. What the fuck? Crazy damage. And then on kill, he gets his SP back. And it just feels really strong. He's really fun to play. I really like it. I love how they tied the stance swap to something I can control, unlike Philip. Philip feels like their first attempt at a sort of stance swapping character. And this is the refined attempt. And this refined feels really good. The next thing to mention is his passive. He loses SP every time he gets on his horse. He gets on his horse next turn if 3 or allies are defeated. So there is a force get on the horse. I don't really notice this. Your allies, if you're playing it properly, your allies aren't dying. Even though he does have the gimmick of the Wild Hunt, which is down here. So he can use 2 of his coffins to apply Wild Hunt to a character. That character is basically gets 1 extra turn of his extended life to do stuff. and when they die, you get resources from them dying. So basically, it's just a temporary extension on their life for the wild hunt consumption. And then he gets a bunch of stuff for when they're in wild hunt. He actually has tribal synergy with the IDs released this season, which is nice. It's attack power up for them. If they have been hit by the wild hunt. So it's more of really this wild hunt thing, in all honesty, feels like a more thematic thing. With the way I play, I'm a greedy little shit who doesn't like his IDs dying. So I didn't really notice this that much. And then the support passive is just a percentage damage increase. Let's be honest. If this guy is anywhere in your lineup, you're running him mainline in the combat team. We can pretend this doesn't exist. Because, like, especially since it's a 3 resonance, I mean, it's going to be on a Gloom team. And if you're on a Gloom team, you're going to have Sinking. And if you're going to have Sinking, why the fuck are you not just running this mainline? Like, what? So, yeah. My rating is going to be somewhere near the same as House. 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. Just, I would say it's a must-have ID. It feels like Ishmael. Captain Ishmael feels like a must-have. All the end bosses, basically, feel like a must-have. Except for Sinclair. In-Corp Sinclair lost kind of... He's exceptionally good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's bad. That is still an exceptional ID. It's just that in the teams he wants to be slotted in, Philip just sort of eclipses him in like what he can do. So that's the only downside. In-Corp Sinclair is still really good. So to sum it up, he is a final Indicanto ID. It shows he feels really strong and absolutely a blast to play. So if you want something that's fun to play, you want something that's strong, go ahead. Get yourself a Wild Hunt Heathcliff. And with that, make sure you guys like, follow, subscribe. I stream Wednesday through Sunday on Twitch, 9 to 5 p.m. Central. Would love to have you. We're getting close with followers. Every new follower helps. We're going to start doing polls for like mirror dungeons and different things. I'm going to try to get more interactive with the community. But with that, I'll wrap it up. Hope to see you guys later.